What's going on, guys? Ted from Immersion here, and I have a very interesting DM's Guild spotlight for you this week. The reason I say it's interesting is I was actually requested to do this a while back when it hit the Unearthed Arcana Reddit, so that's D&D slash, or r slash Unearthed Arcana, I believe. Anyway, this is not necessarily the official Unearthed Arcana stuff from, just to clarify, that Reddit isn't official D&D stuff. I mean, that will get posted there, but this is also where people post their own homebrew ideas, and then people kind of go ahead and review it and talk about it. And somebody said, hey, would you ever review non-DM's Guild stuff? Would you review this thing? And I'd actually seen it before the person posted it on one of the D&D homebrew Tumblr page that I follow, brought it up. But funny enough, it's on the DM's Guild now, so two birds, one stone. It was added 4 days ago, so here we go. What am I talking about, guys? There's a brand new homebrew class, and I'm probably going to mutilate the name. So I'm going to go with Tarocchi? It's funny that the text on the image is R-R-O-C-H-I, but what's actually written, that's right here, what's written right here is T-A-R-O-C-C-H-I. But I think it's supposed to be two R's, because that's what it looks down here. And my understanding, I think, is that's supposed to be based off of tarot, as in tarot cards. And the reason I say that is because this is basically a card magic user. You actually need to use a standard deck of 52 cards to actually play this. Like, you have to shuffle and use a deck of 52 cards to actually play as this class. Why did it, I'm sure, draw everybody's attention, myself included? Because this is Gambit, alright? This is like McCrambit, right? This looks like McCree slash Clint Eastwood slash your typical Wild Western dude who's clearly also Gambit. He's got kinetic energy charged around this card. His eyes are glowing pink. I think this guy kind of looks like Junkrat. So, yeah, I don't know. But I think this class is really cool. So I'm going to give you I'm going to go through, to point out, it is pay what you want. So, you can go ahead and pay whatever you like for this product. You don't have to pay. It's always encouraged, if you like it, to then go ahead and throw the average contribution here, $1.38. So if you want to throw 50 cents, $1, you can. If not, no worries. So I'm going to go through the whole thing and give you a full review as we go, because I really like this. I want to see if I can't get a chance to play this in an upcoming game of mine. So I'm going to skip a lot of the flavor text because I don't want this video to be ridiculously long. But again, right here's the warning. It requires a standard deck of 52 playing cards to be able to play. Here is... Now see, look! This has one R and two C's. But up here, we've got two R's and one C. So I don't know. We'll have to see just as we go through which one. This one, I think this must be it then. Is one R and two C's. But here it's... I'm so confused. That's neither here nor there. Let's actually dive into it. You've got your kind of table here. You can see spells goes up to 9th level. Hand size, which we'll get into is in a minute. Cantrips and spells known. So we'll talk about that as we go. So Power Pack is your first ability. Tarocchi, this is what I'm going to call it, so we're going to go with that. Tarocchi's most powerful weapon is their Power Pack. A deck of cards infused with magical abilities that only they can wield. Sometimes there are legendary artifacts with intricate artwork on the back, a court card depicting powerful rulers and tyrants. Often, however, they're just simply an ordinary deck of playing cards that they feign innocence of their magical abilities. Indeed, Power Packs can be used as an ordinary deck of cards, and even if any of the cards are lost or destroyed, the Power Pack will reform in their deck by the light of the next morning as arcane magic binds them together. So that's basically just telling you you have a deck of cards. Do I have a deck of cards? I do. I think I have a Harry Potter, how fitting, deck of cards. Right over here. So, let's go ahead and we'll use these as we go through. So, got our Harry Potter cards here. We're going to use these so we can play through and explain as we go. Living as a Tarocchi. Actually, that's more background stuff. I just want to... There you go. So, Creating one, quick build, Charisma is your main stat, followed by Constitution, and then you can see your cantrips and magics. So, it's a D8 hit die, light armor, proficiency in Wisdom and Charisma, 2 skills, Deception, History, Insight, Intimidation, Investigation, Perception, Performance, Persuasion, and Sleight of Hand. Can we just talk for a sec how every homebrew class always has Perception on the skill list? Not that I have a problem with it, because everybody is going to want to get Perception one way or another. I just find it funny that there are classes in the player's handbook, like a large majority of them, that don't get Perception as a class skill, but every single homebrew one I see always has it. Light crossbow and bolts, Dungeoneer's pack or Explorer's pack, and proficiency in gaming set playing cards, obviously. So, here we go. Power pack. Whether it be through blood or study or packed magic, other or whatever, you have this magic deck of cards. Along with a magical deck of cards you come into possession of, you're able to craft powerful magical effects so long as you draw the right card. Unlike other magic users, you use your cards to fund your arcane abilities directly, meaning that you cast spells in a unique way. And we'll see, you can see this over here. We're going to go through that in a sec. Each card in your deck represents one spell slot. However, Tarocchi spell slots work differently than other magic users. At first level, your hand size is 5, meaning you can draw up to your maximum hand size, which would be 5 at level 1, as a bonus action on your turn. Your hand persists until you finish a long rest. To cast a Tarocchi spell, you must play a card of the appropriate spell slot from your hand. Unlike other magic users, you must use the specified card for each spell level. You cannot use higher cards to cast lower level spells, so no upcasting. The exception is cantrips. Any card in the deck can be cast as a cantrip. Once you cast a spell, the card is discarded until you finish a long rest. So you're going to have these cards, discard pile, cards to go. Your hand size increases as you gain levels. I think the max hand size is 7, yes. You can discard cards from your hand at any time without an action. Once a card is discarded, it is lost until you finish a long rest, at which point all cards return to the deck. This includes cards which may have been left in other areas or even destroyed. To cast a spell at a higher level, you must play an additional card when you cast the spell. For each card you play, the spell is cast one level higher to a maximum of your highest spell level, spell known as shown on the spell level column of the Tarocchi table. For example, if you know the first level spell Cure Wounds, and your hand is a 2, 5, 10, Jack, and King, you can play the 10 to cast Cure Wounds. First level spell is a 10. Your other cards can be played as any cantrip that you know. If you wish to cast Cure Wounds as a second level spell, you would play the 10 along with one other card of your choice to cast the spell at second level. Let's just read that one more time. If you wish to cast Cure Wounds as a second level spell, you would play the 10 along with one other card of your choice to cast the spell at second level. So I guess it doesn't have to be a Jack, it can just be any card. Cast a spell, you must play additional cards when you cast a spell. For each card you play, the spell is cast one level higher to a maximum of your highest spell level known, as shown on the spell. Okay. So, if I have 5 cards, 1, 2, 3, oh, this is 6, so 5 cards, and I play this card to cast Cure Wounds at level 1, I could say, well, let's make it level 2, level 3, level 4, and level 5. So I basically throw out 5 cards, my whole hand, to play, to cast that Cure Wounds out of a 5th level slot. And again, you can't upcast normally, so I couldn't have drawn, let's say, this... Give me a face card here. This Jack, and say, I want to cast Cure Wounds with this Jack. I would need to have a 10 to cast the first level spell, and then have to upcast it from there. Cantrips, 4 cantrips of your choice at first level. You learn additional cantrips as you level up from the Tarocchi spell list. 2 first level spells of your choice from the list at the start. Spells known, each of these spells can be no higher than the highest spell you can cast. For instance, when you reach 3rd level in the class, you can learn 1 new spell at 1st or 2nd level, like any spells known class. Additionally, when you gain a level in this class, you can choose one of the spells you know and replace it with another spell from the list, which also must be no higher than the spell's level known. So this is the big deal. Any 2 through 9 of any suit is used to cast a cantrip. Well, it also said that any spell can be used to cast a cantrip, any card. But those specifically can do that. 10s, cast your first levels. Jacks, cast your second levels. Queens, cast your third. The king of diamonds or hearts is fourth. The king of clubs or spades is fifth. Ace of diamonds is sixth. Ace of hearts is seventh. Ace of clubs is eighth. Ace of spades is ninth. So if you're really hoping to cast that 7th level spell, you better hope in your heart of hearts and the heart of the cards that you're pulling that Ace of Hearts, because otherwise you're not getting that spell. It's a charisma-based class, so 8 plus proficiency bonus plus charisma modifier. Your cards count as your focus. 52 cards is enough for most to last an entire day, but sometimes the best laid plans are rent asunder. If there are no cards left in your power pack, you can still use a bonus action to draw a number of cards up to your hand limit. Any cards you draw in this way are magically summoned and appear as jokers. Jokers can only be used to cast as cantrips. So you can still play cards after your, if you run through all 52 cards, but they can only be used to cast cantrips. So at 3rd level, you choose a game of choice. This is your preferred game, card game that you like to play, and that will further affect things. They are euchre, Mao, and poker. I believe Mao is basically solitaire, at least from the one that I had read, but we'll look at that. You get abilities as you level up based off of that. 2nd level, you get New Deal. Anytime you play a card from your hand, you can use your reaction to declare a new deal. If you do so, take all the remaining cards in your hand and shuffle them into your deck. You then draw a full new hand. You must have at least 1 card remaining in your hand to use this feature. You must use this. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your charisma modifier. You regain uses when you finish a short or long rest. So, we draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 6 cards here, I think. Yeah. So we play a card, and they're like, "Oh, this is crappy. I'm going to use my reaction. I'm going to call a new deal. Take these cards, shuffle them back into my deck here, and then draw a new full hand." A new full hand. Okay. So I could have theoretically only had 1 card left and shuffled this 1 card into my deck to draw a new full hand, which at level 2 is 5 cards. So that could be a game changer for you, so keep that in mind. Charisma modifier times per day, or per short rest, rather. Beginning at 2nd level, you can stack the deck. You learn to regain your most potent magics. Once per day, when you finish a short rest, you can take any amount of a single rank card in your discard pile and shuffle them into your deck. This includes court cards, but not aces. The rank of king is split in half according to your spell slots. King of diamonds and king of hearts count as a single rank, while the king of clubs and king of spades count as a separate rank. Let's check this language thing, because this is important. So, there are several terms that are unique to this Tarocchi class. Rank is a numerical value, so if you have a card with a rank of 3, this includes the 3 in all 4 suits, or a rank of 9, or king, and so on. Discard, you may discard cards from your hand without playing them. These cards go to your discard pile, but do not activate any magical effect. Play, when you play a card, you are activating its magical effect. Like a wizard with a spell book, your power pack is as a physical object that can be lost or destroyed. You can choose what it looks like, and there's stats here to replace it. So, once when you finish a short rest, you can choose to add a whole single rank. So if you're out, if you blew all your cards, and you're like, I need some heavy hitters, okay, and then you're out of your whole discard pile is done, you can add a short rest, say, I'm going to add all my queens back in. I want to add the queen rank, and then you've got 4 queens, and that's your high-level magics ready to go. Beginning at 3rd level, you get Ace in the Hole. You have the ability to have a spell prepared even when the card is not ready. You can designate 1 card which remains in your power pack and cast a spell using that card, even though you do not have the card in your hand. When you do so, search your deck, or search your power pack for the card and discard it, and then shuffle your power pack. Once you use this feature, you must finish a long rest before you can use it again. At 17th level, you can use it twice before a rest. So, what that means is, once you hit 3rd level, you kind of have an ability to sort of pick a spell you want to cast. Like, let's say you did want to cast, I don't know what spells they get, but let's say Fireball, right? So you would need, what is that, a jack? A queen. You'd need a queen to cast a Fireball. So you could say, alright, I'm going to use the Queen of Hearts, put a little Gambit here, and I want the Queen of Hearts in my pocket, ready to cast a Fireball. So you're like, alright, it's my turn, Fireball. And then you search through your deck, pull out your Queen of Hearts, put it in the discard pile. Lucky Draw, also at 3rd level. Whenever you draw a single card from a deck of cards, you can draw 2 cards and choose which card you want. The other card is shuffled back into the deck. This ability works with your power pack, but only when you draw a single card. This is a magical ability. If creatures ask you to draw from a deck of cards, they do not see you draw 2 cards or make any kind of choice. You simply end up with the card you desire. So that works with any card. So let's point that out. If you're gambling, and you're like, oh, I got an ace-6 offsuit. Well, I really just drew the ace, and they don't see you draw the 6. And you're like, oh, look at that. Another ace. Go figure. So there you go. That works, and that's just always on. So that doesn't matter. Whenever you draw 1 card, you draw 2 and choose. It works with your power pack, but only when you draw a single card. Standard ability score improvements as you go. Trump card at level 10. Whenever you're surprised, you can, as a reaction, choose to not be surprised, and instead play a single card from your hand to cast a spell which has a casting time of 1 action or a bonus action. Once you use this feature, you must finish a short or long rest before you can use it again. Starting at 18th level, you can do it twice. So, yeah, that's basically a way to just you don't need alert for the majority of it, because you can use that to basically ignore surprise and get an attack off as a reaction, which is pretty great. And then at 20th level, you get bottom dealing. You've gained complete mastery over your cards. Whenever you play a card with a rank of Queen or lower, instead of discarding it, you can place the card on the bottom of your power pack. At any time, you can play that card again as if it were your card in your hand. At that point, you discard it. You can use this feature twice, regaining expended uses when you finish a long rest. If you use this feature twice to place 2 cards on the bottom of your deck, only the bottom card counts as if it were currently in your hand. So we've got our, give me something good. This is a king, Joker, Lucius Malfoy. I don't know, whatever. We'll just use this ace and his cancel. So I just blow this card to cast a powerful spell, and I'm like, you know what? This is going right on the bottom of my deck. And guess what I'm casting in the next turn? Boom, casting it again. Then it gets discarded. That's a pretty powerful capstone ability, and you can use it twice per long rest, so that's good. But you know what, guys? Capstones, whenever I say capstone, I guess I should clarify. Capstone ability is your 20th level ability. If you go the full 20 levels in your class, this is what you get. And they should be powerful. You spent that investment, so that's pretty good. What are we getting as far as spells? Let's take a look. Cantrips, Chill Touch, Creep Bonfire. You've got a fair amount of good cantrips. You don't have Firebolt, which is unfortunate, but you do get Ray of Frost, Shocking Grasp. You get all the good illusion-y ones, Mage Hand, Mending, Message, Minor Illusion, Prestidigitation. All the good ones for kind of RP stuff, as well as Dancing Lights, Chill Touch. First level spells, Identify is good, Cure Wounds, so you have healing. Ice Knife is solid, Identify, Magic Missile, Shield. Okay, so you get, this is actually a pretty good spell list, just at a quick glance. Magic Missile, Sleep, Shield, all good spells. Thunderwave, solid. You got some illusion-based stuff if you want to get crazy. You've got Cure Wounds, so you've got some healing. You don't have Healing Word, but you do have Cure Wounds. Detect Magic. You don't get Ritual Casting, so keep that in mind. Charm Person makes sense. Ice Knife and Identify. Again, these are, you don't have Ritual Casting, so these would be blowing a full spell to do these, but those are good spells. Enhanceability can be really good, especially if you're gambling. Invisibility, Lesser Restoration. Misty Step is amazing. Gotta love Misty Step. Scorching Ray. Suggestion. These are all great spells. Spiritual Weapon, even. And Silence. That's a very solid second level list. Third, what do we got? Daylight, always good. Bestow Curse, Dispel Magic. No Counterspell. Fireball. Fly, Lightning Bolt, Melts Minute Meteors is nice if you want to try something different. Oh, there you go. Revivify, Sending, and Spirit Guardians. That's some of the 3 best 3rd level spells off the Cleric list. Death Ward, Dimension Door, and Greater Invisibility. Actually, this whole 4th level set is great. These are great. Locate creature, not so much, but Polymorph, Storm Sphere, and Vitriolic Sphere. 4th level spells, that's some of the best spells out there, so that's pretty great. 5th, Contagion, Greater Restoration, good. Raise Dead, so you got a high level res spell. Legend Lore, if you need to figure something out. Modify Memory. Immolation's okay. Dream's okay. But those are still great spells. 6th, Find the Path, Globe of Invulnerability, True Seeing, Planar Ally. These are alright. These, when you get to this high, you're kind of picking and choosing. No heal, though, interestingly enough. But also no mass heals either, or Healing Word. 7th level, Regenerate, Resurrection, and Symbol. 8th level, Control, Weather, Earthquake, and Glibness. Glibness is a great spell. Only bards get that, so that's good. And 9th level, Foresight, Time Stop, and Wish. Solid spell list. It's an interesting mixture. I'm noticing, you know, I mean, obviously there's got to be a lot of, you want to have this Gambit style thing. I mean, I imagine if you're casting Fireball, it's like you're charging up the card and you're throwing it, and then the card explodes. That's how I would flavor it, because, you know, Gambit. Also, maybe your Spirit Guardians are like floating cards and stuff like that. There's some cool concepts just to figure this out. Also, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm a little biased, but I just think it's really cool to play with a deck of cards rather than like a spell sheet. I think that's pretty neat. All right, so we're on to the archetypes. So what do we got? Euchre. Euchre has gone by many different names, but the crux of the game is that it's a team game with a group of face-down cards in the center of the board referred to as the kitty. Like your favorite game, you too work well with others as a Euchre master and learn to share cards with your friends to grant them powerful magical abilities. I've never played Euchre before, but I've heard of it, so so we'll see what we got. See, and this is why I said I think Mao is poker. I'm going to jump back. 3 games that are presented below: Euchre, Poker, and Solitaire, and it says Euchre, Mao, and Poker. So there could be a little bit of editing required on just the formatting section, especially the 1R 2C situation that we see. So what do we got? What's Kitty card? That's your first ability here. Beating at first level, when you choose this game, you can play a card for a spell of up to 5th level or lower, naming the spell you cast into it. However, unlike a normal casting of the spell, you can identify the card as a kitty card. This traps the spell's magic in the card, but does not cast the spell immediately. Once a card has been designated as a kitty card, it can be given to any other creature to hold on to it. At any time, that creature can touch the kitty card and say a code word that you both come up with together. This allows the creature to cast the spell. The spell activates as though you were casting it. This includes your spell level, DC, etc. However, the range and area activate from the creature holding the card, which chooses any targets and makes any spell attack rolls. You can have 1 kitty card active at a time. If you create a new kitty card, the other one loses its power. Regardless of when it's created, all cards, including unexpended kitty cards, return to your deck when you finish a long rest. Cool ability right out the gate. So, I mean, that could be like your paladin buddy who has no range. You could be like, here, buddy. The code word is Booyah. Take this. This is a fireball. And then they could just... and then cast it and explode the fireball. Or it could be to your wizard buddy or your fighter buddy and be like, here's a 5th level Cure Wounds. Take this. That's one thing I'm not entirely sure of. A spell of 5th level or lower, I don't know if that means you can only cast 1 spell, or would you have to blow several cards to cast an upcast spell? I don't know how that would work. That might be a question for the creator just to see. Because with this one specifically, if you're storing magic in a card, you have to blow, say, 4 cards to cast a 5th level Cure Wounds. Does it only go to the 10? Is that where it goes and you spend the other cards? I'm just curious. But theoretically, based on how I would homebrew allow it in my game, yeah, I would say you'd spend all those cards up front, and you could give your buddy with no healing a 5d8 heal, which would be pretty solid. 6th level, you get Knock. You have the ability to pass your turn for greater benefit later. You can choose to give up your action and all of your movement on your turn. If you do so, you gain 1 additional action on your next turn. You can only ever gain 1 additional action in this way. This kind of being a card thing where you just kind of on the table where you don't do anything. You don't look at your cards. You don't fold. You don't give it. So you're just like, I knock, and you give up your whole turn, and then next turn you get 2 actions. So you can only ever do this to get only a maximum of 2 actions. but essentially you're giving up 1 turn to get 2 turns later, which could be a big benefit, especially if things are looking rough, and you're like, I do 2 heals to bring my friends back. Table Talk at 10th level, you can communicate with your allies in secret. You can cast Rary's Telepathic Bond, but only as a ritual. For those of you who don't know, I'm going to look it up right now, but Rary's Telepathic Bond, I believe, lasts for an hour? Maybe 8 hours? It is a telepathic link between you and your allies. It lasts for an hour. You forge a telepathic link to up to 8 willing creatures of your choice within 30 feet. Creatures with an intelligence of 2 can't be affected. The communication is possible over any distance, though it can't traverse multiple planes. So that's pretty great. I mean, it is a ritual, I think, to cast it anyway as a wizard, but unlimited distance telepathy for up to 8 creatures is solid. And then at 14th, you get Best Bower. You have the ability to use your jacks as more... This must be a euchre thing. As more powerful spells. You can take a bonus action to choose a color, either red or black. Until you finish a long rest, the jacks in your power pack of that color can be used to cast a spell slot of up to 5th level. Typically, a jack is only 2nd level spells. This bumps all your jack, either your red jacks or your black jacks, up to 5th level. That's pretty big. So I kind of like that. It allows you to give some of your magic to your allies, so that's pretty neat. So Mao, again, we're going to move on to Mao. I'm guessing this is Solitaire, because this says Solitaire over here. So Mao begins now. A Mao Master constructs their discard pile differently than other Tarocchi. While other Tarocchi can simply discard their cards in any order, a Mao Master must play their cards in a certain order. Once a Mao Master plays their first card after a long rest, casting their first spell, new cards played must be played off the previous card. This is done in one of 2 ways. The next card played must either match the suit of the previous card played, or else it must match the rank of the previous card. If you play a card that does not match this convention on the previous card played, you gain 1 level of exhaustion. Holy crap. You can always discard cards without playing them. Despite normally being separate ranks, kings and aces can be played off previous ones for the purposes of Mao. So long as you play by the rules, your spells become more powerful. Each cantrip you play according to the rules, which deals damage, is cast with a damage increase, as though you were the next level of caster required for additional damage, 5th, 11th, or 17th. At 17th level, your cantrips gain another increase beyond their normal bounds. Each spell of 1st level and higher you play according to the rules is cast as a spell 1 level higher than normal to your maximum spell level. So let's think that through. This is, I feel, one of the ones where you need to have as an example, and then you spell it out. So, this seems Solitaire-esque, where you're going to be playing the same suit or the same rank. So, once you play your first card, so let's say we are going to shuffle this deck, and we're going to pick a card, and we're going to just play that one without even looking. See what we get. We get a 4 of hearts. So we play a 4 of hearts. The next card played must either match the suit of the previous card, or must match the rank of the previous card. So, I drew 5 cards, so I can either play a heart, or either a 4, or am I supposed to go up, as in Solitaire, to go a 5, 6, 7, and all the way up? If you play a card that does not match this convention, you gain 1 level of exhaustion. See, it doesn't say it must match the rank, so that makes me feel like I need to play a heart or a 4, not a 5 or a 6. So long as you play by the rules, your spells become more powerful. Despite being separate ranks, kings and aces can be played off previous ones for the purposes of Mao. So yeah, I guess it must be the same. So you could play a king on an ace or an ace on a king. I don't know, that's a little confusing to me. But I get it, they get upcast. So that's a cool feature. Let's keep going. You have the ability to reverse turn order temporarily at 6. As a bonus action on your turn, you can invoke a reverse command. Once your turn is complete, instead of the next creature in initiative taking its turn, the previous creature takes its turn. This continues with initiative going backwards in order until it returns to you. Once you complete this turn, initiative returns to normal. Once you use this feature, you must complete a short or long rest before you can use it again. So you can turn initiative back around. So this is super great if you are first in initiative order and all of your allies are going before the enemy. You could wait until your ally... I'm sorry, I guess if it would be you'd go last. And so it's like you got a party of 4 and it's 1, 2, 3, and you're 4. It gets to you on your turn. You say, I invoke reverse command. And then it goes back up to get all your allies again before it gets back to you. I guess it goes all the way back around to you and then goes back the other way. I don't know. It's bonus action. Once you can invoke a reverse command. Once your turn is complete, instead of the next creature in the initiative taking its turn, the previous creature takes its turn. This continues with initiative going in backwards order until it reaches you. So I guess it does go all the way back around. Once you complete this turn, initiative returns to normal. Once you use this feature. So, really, you can get 2 turns immediately, but the enemies are going to get 2 turns back-to-back, too, it sounds like. Starting at 10th level, you can call upon an otherworldly presence to answer your questions. You can cast the Commune spell as a ritual. When you do so, a deity or extraplanar being is friendly towards you and appears to answer your questions. Have a nice day. Just when the enemy thinks you've got them in your clutches, you can flip the rules of Mao on its head. Beginning at 14th level, you can play any card in your hand without suffering the penalties of playing an incorrect card. Once you use this feature, you must complete a short or long rest before doing it again. I don't think I would ever choose Mao, because 1, it sounds more complicated. I think giving your friends one is better, but let's see what poker gets us. So, winning hand. You have the ability to play multiple cards and once to enhance your spell's effects. While you can normally play additional cards to raise the spell level of your spells you cast, you can take it further by making poker hands, enhancing the spells even further. At first level, you can play any of the following hands to gain an additional effect. You must play an entire poker hand of 5 cards, even if the winning hand you play does not require 5 cards. You must cast a single spell when you play the hand, which can be a spell from any of the cards in the hand. When you play 5 cards as a winning hand, it does not count as an additional cards to raise the spell's level, although you may play additional cards with your winning hand to raise any spell levels as you desire. So basically, we're going to be playing 4 of a kind, 2 pair, full house, etc. Unlike normal Tarocchi, a poker player has 2 discard piles, one of which is referred to as the poker pile. When you play a winning hand, you use 1 or more if applicable of the cards from the hand to cast a spell. This card is discarded normally. However, the remainder of the winning hand is placed into the separate poker pile. These are the cards that were used to make a winning hand but were not directly used to cast the spell. When you finish a short or long rest, take all cards in the poker pile and shuffle them back into your power pack. So let's think about that. We're going to draw whatever this is, 5 cards. So I got a pair of 9s. So I'm going to play a winning hand, and I'm going to play a pair of 9s. But then this 3 king and this deuce here, these get thrown out. These don't... I have to play the whole hand because it's like poker. So I play all 5 cards. But my pair of 9s gets discarded, and my 3, 2, and king go into the poker pile. Then when I finish a short or long rest, my poker pile goes back into my deck. Makes sense. Now, let's look at what we got as far as what our winning hands do. 2 pair. This hand contains at least 2 cards of the same rank and 2 cards of another rank. So 2 2s, 2 aces, 2 2s, 2 9s, 2 3s, 2 8s, whatever. When you play this hand, you cast 2 spells with a casting time of 1 action, 1 for each pair. Discard 1 card from each pair and place the remaining 3 in the poker pile. So, if we had... Yeah, so we draw 5 cards. If we had 2 pair, 1 of each in each pair goes to the discard. The other 3 go to the winning, into the poker pile, rather. So, cast 2 spells. Yeah, okay, 1 for each pair. So if you drew, let's think this through. If you drew 2 queens and 2 jacks, you could cast a 2nd level spell and a 3rd level spell at once, as long as they were 1 action. So you have Scorching Ray and Fireball, and you go 2 pair. Scorching Ray and Fireball go off. If that's how I'm reading that. I mean, again, these are very theoretical situations. You know, it's all in the luck of the draw here. But that I think is pretty cool. Three of a kind. This hand contains at least 3 cards of the same rank. When you play this hand and cast a spell that has a casting time of 1 action, you can change the casting time to a bonus action for this casting. Discard 2 of the 3 identical cards and place the remaining 3 in the poker pile. So, upcasting, meta magic almost. Straight. This hand contains at least 5 cards in a sequential rank. When you play this, I mean, now we're getting a little crazy, I feel like, at this point, but straight. When you play this hand, cast a spell 1 level higher than the highest spell card that was played, to a maximum of the highest spell slot. Discard the 2 highest cards in the hand and place the remaining 3 in the poker pile. If your maximum spell level does not allow you to play a higher level spell, you can instead cast a spell 1 level higher than the highest card played, even if that's higher than your normal spell level. So, yeah, you're going to basically upcast the highest level spell card there. So if you had a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 is a first level spell, you cast that first level spell as a second level spell. Alright, Flush. 5 cards, all that are the same suit. When you play this hand, all targets affected by the spell have disadvantage on the first saving throw made by the spell. Discard the 2 highest cards from the flush, place the remaining 3 on the bottom of the poker pile. Full House. 3 of one rank, 2 of another. When you play this hand, the spell you cast is increased by 3 levels to a maximum of your highest spell level. Discard the 3 same rank cards and shuffle the 2 off-rank cards directly back into your power pack. That goes right into the power pack, not even into the poker pile. 4 of a kind. The hand contains 4 cards of the same rank. When you play this hand and cast a spell that targets only 1 creature that doesn't have a range of self, you can target 3 creatures in range with the spell. 3 other creatures. I'm sorry, that's 4 of a kind, 4 targets. Discard all 4 of the cards and put the last one in the poker pile. So let's think this through. What do we got as high-level damaging spells? Do we have anything good? We don't. Oh, could you imagine quadded Finger of Death? How crazy would that be? You could Contagion 4 people with that if you did that. No, it's got to target 1 creature, right? When you play this hand, it targets only 1 creature. So I mean, you could quad Ray of Frost, Contagion being one that targets only 1 creature. You know what? I'm also thinking... I'm not thinking, because you could do Greater Invisibility on 4 people, or Polymorph on 4 people, Cure Wounds on 4 people. You could create Undead on 4 zombies. Alright, so there's good uses to that. I was only thinking offensive, not defensive. Straight Flush. This card contains 5 cards of sequential rank, all which are the same suit. When you play this hand, you can cast a spell 2 levels higher than the highest spell card that was played, to a maximum of your highest spell level. Discard the 3 highest cards in the hand and place the remaining 2 in the poker pile. If your maximum spell level doesn't allow you to cast a spell, play a higher level spell, you can instead cast a spell 2 levels higher than the previous highest card played. Hold'em. At 6th level, you can take your poker abilities a step further, including a variant called Hold'em. On your turn, you can take a bonus action to play up to 3 cards in front of you as your Hold'em cards. These cards remain in front of you for 1 minute, during which time you can draw back up to your normal hand limit. So think about that. This is at 6th level. What's our hand limit at 6th level? 6 is 6. So, let's play this out. Okay, I'm going to shuffle cards. You're going to draw, and we're going to say, these are going to be our Hold'em cards. Queen, Queen, 5. Okay, that's not a bad start. So, on your turn, you can take a bonus action to play up to 3 cards. We would have had 6. Got our 6. Play 3 cards in front of you as Hold'em cards. These cards remain in front of you for 1 minute, during which time you can draw back up to your normal hand limit. So I think, if I'm reading that, bonus action first, play those 3. They stay in front of me for 10 rounds in combat, during which I can draw back up to my normal hand limit. So I'm going to draw back up the other 3 to get myself 6. Got it. While they do not count against your hand limit, the Hold'em cards can be used in conjunction with cards in your hand to make a winning hand. They are considered played whenever making the winning hand and are discarded normally. If the Hold'em cards are not used within a minute, they are discarded. Well, I have here in front of me, my Hold'em cards are Queen, Queen, 5. In my hand, I happen to have another Queen, a 5, and a pair of 6s. So, just made myself a full house with that. So let's go back and take a look at what a full house does. This, when you play this hand, the spell you cast, which is a Queen, so that's a 3rd level spell. I just upcast that Queen, so I upcast that by 3 levels. I can't cast a 6th level spell at 6th level, but theoretically speaking, I could have just cast a 3rd level spell out of a 6th level slot with that full house that I just made. So, I'm liking that. That really breaks the dichotomy of the way these cards work for that, so that's almost worth taking this alone just for the Hold'em feature. But what else do we have? At 10th level, you are ready for a round of poker no matter where you are. You can cast Leomin's Tiny Hut, great, only as a ritual. When you do so, you can also cast the Tensor's Floating Disc spell and the Unseen Servant spell as part of the same ritual. The Disc and Servant cannot leave the hut. Thought being, you just created a dome of impenetrable force to keep you and your allies safe. You just summoned up a Tensor's Floating Disc as a table and an Unseen Servant as your dealer. So you just basically made your own poker table, which is why the feature is called Cozy Table. I think that that's hilarious. And at 14, you get All In. You target one creature within 60 feet as a bonus action. You and the creature roll a d20. So you basically are like, I'm all in. Go ahead, DM. Let's roll. You and a creature each roll a d20. The higher of the rolls is a victor. The victor of the roll has advantage on attack rolls against the loser. The loser has disadvantage on all saving throws from the effects initiated by the victor. This lasts for 1 minute. Once the effect ends, they are immune to this effect for 24 hours, but you can initiate a new target, the effect against a new target. So that's great. And then, yeah, that's it. So, I don't know what you guys think, but I am a fan. I think the Mao system seems a little wonky. I don't like it, personally. I think there's a couple of grammatical things that I might tweak. Again, like I said, for Mao, I might put an example of exactly what you mean. Because over here, like I said, it says Solitaire, so when I read the card of the same rank, I'm thinking I should go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and play up like I would in poker, or I would in Solitaire, and then when I get to a king, I can go ace, king, and then go back down, is my assumption is how that's supposed to work. Otherwise, you're very limited in what you can play. I think the concept of using a deck of cards, it's novel to me, almost like taking the spell cards to another level. It allows you to get cool cards if you want to play, you know, something specific with that. The kind of whole luck side of things really, you know, kind of taking it out of... I think it'd be a really challenging class to play, because you don't know what you're going to play. You're a wizard, you're a cleric, you know, like, alright, next I'm going to cast Cure Wounds, and then next turn I'm going to cast Spirit Guardians or Heal. Or I'm going to cast Haste, and then I'm going to cast Fireball, and then I'm going to run away, or whatever. But with this, you don't really know what you're going to do. Let's see, I'm going to draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got a 2, a 5, and an 8, so that's cantrips. And I got a Jack and a King of Hearts. So a Jack is a 2nd level spell. A King of Hearts is a 4th. So I really didn't know what I was going to get. And I only, remind you, I only know 15 spells. So I need to be very careful what I choose of these higher level spells, because there's only one card in the deck that makes these 6, 7, 8, 9th, 6, 7th, and 8, 6, 7, 8, and 9th level spells is the different aces. So I literally have to rely on an ace in the hole to cast any of those. Do I want to blow on my 15 spells known on that? I don't know. There is cool features. I like the, a lot of the different things where you have the lucky draw and how you can sort of tweak the way cards are played and things like that. I like the euchre one a lot. I like being able to give up my turn to do 2 later, especially if maybe you got drop the ambush or you're set in ambush and you're waiting and they don't see you, you're hidden. Delaying your turn to then get 2 later is going to be huge. Telepathic Bond is great. Upcasting your jacks to 5th level, phenomenal. Being able to hand your buddy, basically, I mean, it's just so Gambit. I don't know. I really like Gambit. I guess that's why I like this thing so much. But can you just imagine, like, here, this is for later, and you just, like, stick this in, like, your buddy's pocket, and it's the Fireball card, it's the Cure Wounds card, it's the Time Stop card, really, depending on the situation. And then you're, I don't know, I'm imagining a lot of scenarios in my head where they, like, pull the card out, and they're like, here, why don't you hold this card for me? And they hand it to them, and I'd be like, where I come from, we have a saying, and it's whatever the key, insert catchphrase here, and then the card goes off. Whether it's Fireball, Contagion, Sleep, whatever the situation is, really cool stuff. And I love the idea of literally playing poker in Dungeons & Dragons to play your cards to do cool stuff. I mean, you saw me get a full house right here when we were using the Hold'em rules here at that 6th level. So why don't we try that again? We'll do another round of Hold'em. So, I'm going to have my hand, which is at 6th. Well, I have a Joker in here. That doesn't count. So, 6th level. 6 cards. Okay, I got 2 kings and an ace in here. My suits are all off. But we're going to go Hold'em cards, king, king, ace. We're feeling ambitious here. We're going to draw up the other 3 cards here. And, alright, well, we didn't get anything as great as last time. But I did get 2 6s, so I got 2 pair. I got a pair of 6s and a pair of kings. 2 pair lets me cast a cantrip, and, it doesn't say when you play, so I could actually choose because I got 2 kings. So, King of Hearts or King of Clubs. So I can cast a 5th level spell and a cantrip at the same time with my 2 pair here. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I think that's really fun. I like it. Let me know what you guys think. Again, it's free here on the Dungeon Master Guild. Sorry guys, this video is almost an hour long. Holy crap. I've been talking for a while. I just really like this. You can see it's got 2 ratings here. People seem to be a fan. I had the exact same thought as this guy right here. I can imagine the shenanigans you can pull using Lucky Draw on the deck of many things. Draw 2 cards. Oh, this one traps my soul forever. And this one lets me get a castle. Guys, I got the castle card. Cool. Also, there's my pair of 6s. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. If you like this and you're gonna download it, tell me why. If you don't like this and you think it's stupid, also tell me why in the comments below. I'm curious. And if you do decide to go pick this up, or you want to comment and make a review to Alex Tanner here, the designer of the Tarocchi class, let him know that you heard about it from me over here at Nerd Immersion. That way I can have a conversation with him and say, hey, we reviewed your thing, we really liked it. Here's some thoughts I have on criticisms and things that I think are really cool about it, things that I don't like about it. Also, I think the inspiration here was clearly a little bit of Gambit stuff, but do you have any other ideas for other things to put out there? I've been tracking this. Has he done... Oh, he has done other stuff. Look at this. Okay, he's the guy who's done all of the kind of... what are they called? Lacers? Yeah, I've seen this too. The Lacers thing, which is basically, obviously, Avatar themed. These are all pay what you want. Incarnate, the last of the Lacers, and then there are the different Lacer classes. Lacer class, and then Water Lacer, Earth Lacer, Air Lacer, Samsari class, and then a Fire Lacer. We're probably going to be doing reviews of these in the future, as if you don't know me, I love Avatar: The Last Airbender, Korra, all that stuff. So that's really big for me. I remember when this came out on the Unearthed Arcana, and now it looks like it's formally here. So we're going to have to take a look at that too. But anyway, guys, I like the Tarocchi, however you want to pronounce it. I think it's cool. I think it'd be a blast, at the very least, to try in a one-shot, because it might get a little old where you're literally sitting there and you're like, guys, we're gonna die. I'm making a new hand. I really hope. 3 of a kind. We're going in, you know what I mean? Like, I'm having a really good poker night with these Harry Potter cards. But anyway, guys, I think it'd be fun. And I like the class, and I'm gonna see if I can't find a way to weasel it into a game of mine in the near future. Which hopefully it'll be a game that I'll have recorded and or streamed for you guys to check out, so you can see what I think of it in actual gameplay. So, anyway, guys, I hope you have a great week. Let me know what you think about the class in the comments below, and I will see you next time.